So essentially, the podcast shows Finn, in a somewhat fictional, between you and I, don't tell anyone else, set of circumstances that will be, revealed. This is not a very good trailer, is it? I'm going to tell you about it without telling you about it. Essentially, he's been sent here. He's an interdimensional being, and he's been sent here to help save the world, help the people save it themselves. So anyway, he's going to interview an artist or a small business that's about to go online. There's a lot of retail stores that are just getting into the online game. That's kind of a target for us because we can help them, help increase their online sales. And then a percentage of what we help them make, it's a standard marketing agreement, percentage of what we help them make would go to the fund. And the more people we can get in the marketing group, the more... Yeah, you get the idea. So we are going to interview them first, learn about them, and that's essentially it for the podcast with them. Now, there's another layer to that. I'm not going to go into it right now. I'm going to stick with the podcast. So, after we do the artist interview, there will be a mission update. I frequently have a lot of advice that has helped me get through, and I like to pass that along to all of you. And then I'll be going through some of the spooky stories of Strange that happened around the same time as I received this plan. Then, after we have the podcast going, we start another show. So the podcast interview is quite long and sprawling and all of that with the artist. But then we will have them on the show for a more late night style interview. 3 to 5 minutes. We already know in depth about them, so that would be easy for us. And then we will pick an artist that we have podcasted with, and we are going to dump on them an absolute... I need to say this nicer. I was going to say an absolute load, but I don't mean it like that, no. We're going to dump... Let me find my words. So then, the artists that are chosen will get opportunity for mentorship. We will reach out to whoever their hero is, right? Someone who's just a bit further up the stream. We can offer our clippers to take their material and make more out of it. From the interview, we'll know what their obstacles are, and going to the community for this group they said they'd support, asking what can be done to overcome their obstacles, looking for connections for whatever it is they need. Potentially, if the people are willing, offering content creation assistance. If 30 people made one reel for them and gave it all to them, that is quite a gift as an artist. And they can even say, this one was made by a person from on board that saved the world. Boom, hits the reel. That way, if it's terrible, it's not really their responsibility. They can pop back in and say, wasn't that sweet? And if it's wonderful, then great. Another idea is to have our people love bomb them all week. Well, that's why I came up with algorithmic assistance. It's just such a mouthful. That's what she said. Oh, don't bring that in here. This is a G-rated show. Anyway, stream them on, the streaming platforms, follow them, share them, save them, like them, comment. One little neat thing is you can just hit the copy link button and that counts as a share. So in their appearance on the show, we get to just pour all of these blessings onto them. Now, obviously, they gain a lot. They will get everything we have to offer. And then in that situation, what we gain is revealing what our mission is, the kind of people that we are, the kind of movement that this is. And the bigger we get, the more eyes we have on this, we were to get sponsorships. Companies paying the fund to feature as whatever is being given away. And of course, that money goes to the fund. So anyway, giving them all of those things, we can make content around that. Just make sure that, it's out there, what's being done by the people. And maybe at that point, we ask the artist, I don't know if we do this live or we do this in conversation privately, if they'd be willing to take the $5 million cap pledge, and then have either a percentage of what they make after that or all of it, probably just a percentage. That seems more reasonable. Go to the fund. Like me personally, I'm going to cap myself at 5 million and then all of it's going to go to the fund. A percentage of it along the way is also going to go to the fund. I want to be the number one giver. There's another show. There's several more shows, but I think that's enough for now. So that is all phase 2. Phase 3 is kind of execute phase 2, but keep going and growing. Grow the audience, profits, start the fund. And then for people who are really bought in and really see the good of what we're doing, we can ask for donations. We will not be pushy. We will not be persistent. We will not have drives. I can't say that last one. I could see some funny ways of doing that. If we do, I promise I'll try to make it funny. Really want to spoof like those shopping network shows. Anyway, I digress. Okay, so we grow the fund. As we start helping businesses and artists, I like the idea. We'll have to see who shows up and if it's possible, but I like the idea of creating businesses as well. But that's not quite at this phase yet, because we need to know what's broken in your life. So I want to create a place, a window, a space for you to go and just complain all the time. Complain about your life. Complain about what's on your mind. We want to know every inconvenience. And also, you can tell us every convenience. You can tell us every good thing. Mark it good, mark it bad. Because then we can look at what everyone's struggling with. And maybe that's content. Maybe that's a book. Maybe that's a product. Maybe that's a service. Maybe that's a conversation. Maybe tell us what you have and what you need. Just put as much information in there as you possibly can, because we want to use the data of the complaints to find solutions. Because if we are growing revenue, we want to hear directly from you what's going on in your life. It's not a space to complain about irritations like what you see on the news. I'm talking about, this is what's happening in my life. Something on social media, a conversation that goes badly. Sure, I want to know about that. Trying to file your taxes with a service, and it was horrible. I want to know about that. Got into a fight with someone at work, and or your wife or your husband, and it was terrible. I want to hear about that. See, they have this data already. They can know so much of these things. I assert that, but I don't know that for fact. I do know that they can predict a major depressive episode within a 93% accuracy, up to 3 months before it strikes. And that was in like 2017. Imagine what they can know now. Imagine how they could help us if they use that data to affect our algorithm and what we see and what we're offered. It's not a sales technique. I'm not a salesperson. I'm your friend. That's the idea. Maybe you let us know that you're on a budget, or we respect that with what we show you. Thinking later about the platform down the road that's possible. If you are on a budget and you want to eat something, we can help with that, perhaps with ingredients in your possession already. I'm jumping a bit far down the rabbit hole here, but essentially keeping your intentions in mind for yourself rather than pushing you towards commerce every single time. Whatever you say you want to do, the algorithm honors that. The algorithm honors you. Anyway, I just jumped like phase 5 or something, maybe even 6. Sorry about that. Coming back. But yes, we do want to collect everyone's complaints. So as the fund grows and we're starting, other profitable ventures and leveraging all the leverages, we also want to begin taking the fruit of that labor, some of that profit that's just sitting in the fund and growing due to investment, and help with financial wellness, find ways to offer that for free, with the idea being that once they've been helped, they'll be able to help, offering coaching and therapy, job training, hand-up services that help people get straight in their life, get correct, get on the right path, do the things that are in them to do. That last one's the one I liked. Skip the other two. Help people. At least that's what I've seen in statistics. And no, I can't remember them, so I'm not even going to try to quote them. So we've got money in the fund. We're helping people with hand-up services. And then phase 5 is where we begin the development of the platform. So we have a revenue source from the media, and we have the starting point for data, because the more people complain, the more we can understand how to help them, in which we can also build that into this platform. And then this is where we start with product creation And I like the idea of looking out there, seeing what is the most broken, what are the people complaining about the most, and then that's where we go. We build a plan around a better product based on the complaints of the people. And we go back to the people and we say, hey, would this work for you? Would you like this? And they're like, no, it doesn't solve this. It doesn't solve that, right? It's basically a focus group, support group. We don't have a product in mind yet. We just have philosophy and the ability to do whatever it is we need to do. So we start with what the people's problems are, and then we aim to solve them. And then once we have consensus with the people and we've got input from the experts, then it goes through and it goes through the show, right? It's voted on by the people. And then a percentage of the profits go to the fund. Obviously, whoever's running it, whoever's idea is that comes, all of that. Like, what I'd like to do is have a lot of the ideas be mine and just pay everyone decently and all of the money go to the fund. Because I've got a lot of ideas, darling. And if we can set up this infrastructure where people are listening to the podcast, they're watching the show, where we're love bombing people, dumping blessings on them. Sorry, I had to bring that up again. And we've got all sorts of things people can buy, blah, blah, blah. Just imagine it. Also, I've got my book, which I only got to page 1 of the plan, and I'm, diving in so deeply already. But I finally feel like I'm making sense. This is fantastic. I've allowed this to be imperfect, and it's turning out to be perfect. When you look at the world and you flip it on its head and you say, how can I make this better? How can I make this serve the people? It's all obvious. It's so obvious. That's why everywhere I go, people say, oh, I've been thinking about that. I've been working on that. A piece here. Oh, me. A piece there. Oh, me. And I haven't had those conversations with all of those people. It's so many people. I've got to develop a system. I'm working on that. But this is what I do best. I make content. I know what to do and I can make content about it. Yay. But figuring the rest out along the way. I'm also pretty good at that. So we've got audience. We've got community. We've got revenue. We understand the problems of the people. We take the money from the fund. Solve problems. And in the process, maybe make even more money for the fund. Anyway, it's all about creating a circular economy where the money keeps going to help the people. So the question is, who's in charge of our digital experience, our digital communities? What is their end goal, and what is our end goal as users? Do we want the same things that the tech companies want? Do we, the people, is what I mean. So imagine a digital system that could make your life easier and show you what you want to see. It would be a helpful tool using artificial intelligence and syncing all of your apps, messaging, and systems together. Honestly, I don't think we need full-blown artificial intelligence, but that's neither here nor there. We'll let the experts decide. This system would understand who you are, where you are in life, and where you want to go, offering a personalized suggestion for reading and activities, places to visit, people to meet based on you and what you want, rather than what the platform wants for you. The system is already listening, but it's built for them, when it should be built for us, I think, by us. If we had access to everything they know about us, how would that affect our lives? You'd be able to have a conversation with AI that was trained on your data about any facet of your life. Instead of having to go to 10 different apps, you could issue all the commands from there. The cool part is that the profits from this system, of course, go back into the fund. We mentioned that already. Imagine if social media companies were owned by the users and the platform prioritized your well-being and your well-being and your goals. Platforms that echo your needs, your dreams, your being, creating systems and networks and algorithms, empowering the people in their own rhythms. With a slight change of priorities, the people start to see change. The profits would be used to support education, therapy, financial, coaching, mental wellness. Social media platforms make an ungodly amount of money every year and growing. What if most of that money went towards making the world a better place? Based on what our data shows are our greatest struggles. What if our data could be used by us to serve our own intentions instead of big data? Social media, not based on greed or addiction, but connection and a better life instead of pulling you out of your world and putting you in theirs, helping you see your world more clearly, and ultimately helping you see yourself more clearly. I jump ahead and digress all at the same time. Additionally, that's changing topics quite. So the point of this is to give you some imagination. I want you to just imagine what I've said, right? Like everything I just said, that is cool. System that works for you, algorithm, blah, blah, blah. Now we're going to switch topics and imagine another facet, because we have the fund. And if we use that fund to essentially do whatever we want to do, we can start basically any business we want. Run the numbers, figure out how much money would add to the fund if we started this, how many people we would need to say yes, put it out there. The number of people say yes, they sign up, great. Then we start the whole thing. It's like a reverse Kickstarter where the people are in on the action. They're like helping us decide what to do, and then the money goes back to the fund. Anyway, it's written here, and I don't know what the numbers are now. Again, this was written several years ago, but the US spends $28 trillion on toiletries a year. So, what if the money made from toiletries that you bought went to pay off your loans? Again, I'm imagining here. So basically, it's like a debt payoff program. You buy things that you need all the time anyway, that we've decided to provide because you all said you wanted them and that you would use them. And then the profit that would go to the fund, a percentage goes to help pay down your debt. Now, obviously, it's not going to be a significant amount of money unless, of course, I'm Bold Let's Save the World, which will have a different name for its, maybe not, I don't know, probably have a different name for its corporation working name and all of that. You all will know, I'll keep you abreast. But the more daily services that we can provide, the quicker people's debt will be able to be paid off. And matching that with what we talked about earlier, with the financial coaching and potentially investment opportunities, I put that way down the list until everything is up and running and off to the races and predictable. I can't predict anything yet, so I don't feel wise asking for investors yet. I hope you're starting to see how all of this can work together cyclically. I just wanted to say that because it rhymes, but it all works together. And if we have the data, then we can know what people think is too expensive, and then we can find out how much everything people are complaining about costs to do, costs to make. Because the United States is having a bit of a debt crisis. You can look that up. I don't want to get into the sad stuff right now. The hope is maybe even the agreement. I don't know. We'll talk it out. When you're debt-free, a percentage of what you've freed up now goes to the fund and helps people do the same. I don't know how well that's going to be received by people, but my thought is this. When I was paying, $1,000 a month on various loans and payments, if someone said they'd come in, pay off all my debt, essentially over time, I don't mean straightforward, and then they just ask that a percentage of what they cleared up gets to help the next guy, I think I'd be down for that. To help facilitate that. Perhaps not. Maybe that's stupid. Maybe that's an overshare. I apologize if I'm wrong, but I like the idea of that. Anyway, the goal is to create a fund for the people instead of benefiting wealthy individuals by bending the system to work for us. And in this way, we solve so many problems. We could use the fund to set up scholarships for those who can't afford university. We could provide skills training. When people increase their income and get ahead, they can donate to help others. If our audience community was large enough, we could partner with many companies, create many products, partner with many industries to create everything that the people need. I kind of got at that earlier. With a percentage of it going back to the fund, the possibilities are endless depending on how many people get involved. Yeah. Some of that could have been said better, but you know what? Done's better than perfect, right? Yeah. The goal of all of this is to clear the static of our lives. I'm not going to go on a diatribe about how the big bads are doing all the big bad things, but you know who the big bad boys are, and you know what they're doing. If we can start to have some of that money for ourselves, for we the people, we can start to clear the static of our lives. Because how many problems that we experience are because of someone's greed? Well, that's one of the things we're going to be exploring on this podcast. Maybe not this episode, but everyone's problems is they can all be traced back to someone else's greed within 3 to 5 steps. The more I do it, the more accurate my math will be. So the goal is to clear the static of our lives by improving the logistics of our lives and making doing good a natural byproduct of our systems. Perhaps the fund would eventually make enough money that they could put all of that to help the nonprofit organizations, especially the ones that are doing the sort of work that align with the vision. But at least 10%, sometimes 20, sometimes 30% of a nonprofit's budget goes to marketing. So if they're just automatically supported and they don't have to market, well, that's even more money saved, which means your donation goes further. Little things like that. So many people are lost and hurting. They have no idea what to live for or how to be a part of that bigger thing or a cause that matters. Most people I know want to be a part of something bigger than themselves, something they can be good and useful for, and something that can be good for them. I want you to imagine a group of people not built around identical religious or political beliefs, community built around action. I added action, but I liked it. Community built around a shared reality, a similar direction, and under the banner of better. Oh, that's so poetic and lovely. We want to recruit people to do... Excuse me, I've rephrased this now. I like it better, but I'll read it from the page. Recruit people to themselves for themselves, for consciousness connection, for healthy calculated incremental growth. I like that. Right now I'm trying to recruit people to do what's in them to do. Yeah. Anyway, all right, moving on, another page. Okay, now we're going to get into some of the less than savory bits. It's not a conspiracy. They make money by using your time and attention. The more time you spend on the platform, the more money they make. They have incentive to encourage addiction. What if peak well-being was the priority, as we talked about earlier? A hooked, unproductive, addicted, doom-scrolling user increases their revenue. Gee, I wonder why we have so many of those. They hijack your pleasure centers to accomplish their end goal. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist. But come on, we can see it. What if we could use the same approach ourselves? We set our priorities, we determine the goal of the algorithm for ourselves. What if the algorithm kept in mind your aspirations, your goals, your real, actual friends? Not operating with the thought, money, how much more can we make? Empowering the user's preferred mental state, helping people connect, helping people see themselves with their data, helping people influence and encourage themselves. Instead of how much money we can make, it becomes how much good can we do? What if the algorithm was trained to your ideals, articles, videos, news, connection types, not trying to convince you to buy anything, maybe trying to influence you in the way you said you wanted to be influenced? Content and overall digital experience is guided by your intention instead of by them and their intention. Content and suggestions also based on mood, situation, location, all of the things that they can know. The algorithm could have fun with it, right? Not just try to make money. And not content and suggestions intended to do anything that you are not for. So, for those of you who've been sleeping under a rock, the current model of our digital system is profit through advertisements. It goes like this. Hello, I'm a digital platform. Are you a business? Give us some money and we'll show your product to whoever you think will want to buy your product. It's a bit of a game of whack-a-mole until you dial in your audience. And you will waste loads of money on testing. It could go like this. A better model. It would focus on the user. Kind of like what we're talking about doing with the whole show, with essentially figuring out what the problems are and then offering a solution. And also offering solutions beyond a sale. Maybe that's not a product. Maybe that's just content. So it could go like this. Hello, users. What are your goals, your needs, your preferences? Great, thank you. We'll keep that top of mind. And then every day, like, we'll pay attention. Well, I won't pay attention, but the algorithm will pay attention. The machine learning will pay attention to what you're doing and not try to wrestle your attention away, but ask you, you did this, is that in line with the priority you set here? A digital experience tailored to your life. Not every suggestion is a sale or an attempt to keep you on the platform longer, starting with best for user and honoring the people's desires and intentions for their own lives. Because we're not in this to make a buck. We're in this because we give. I've always wanted to say that. We care. The digital platform we use daily, all of them, are listening to us through our devices. What could we do if we were listening to ourselves? They use the info they gather to match us with ads. What might we match ourselves with? Who might we match ourselves with? Depression can be detected very accurately just monitoring public social media posts months before a severe episode. We can get a heads up, can't we? What could we do for ourselves if we were armed with our data? If I indicate a desire to speak more positively, I could ask it to track my positive versus negative word choices. It could be trained to listen for key words tied to specific actions. I love, I need, etc. I go on and on with this. Words indicating plans being made, or intense emotion, shopping items, desires, goals, frustrations. We could make a longer list, right? And then behavior tracks. Oh, that's fun. So you can see your behaviors and your patterns play out. I don't need to get into all of this. I just want to try to paint a picture for you what can change when the priority changes. So, if there's a real-time pulse on the people's frustrations, solutions can be created and, obviously, put into action. Because we have the people, we have funding, we have influence, we have community. What can't we do? New services, new courses, new policies, driven by our common problems. Oh, I can't wait to talk about the policies. The ideal system is always listening and recommending actions in line with who and how you want to be, with your morals, your aspirations, your life. A text comes to your roommate, we need TP, becomes suggested action. Plus, if you buy from us, the profits go back to the fund. All emails about your kids are scanned for action and proposed to your plans for the week. Unless you don't have kids in school and you don't like having plans for the week. A moment of inspiration, a thought to remember, something that made you laugh, a movie recommendation. It's always listening. Never forget what's important to you. So you can remember, not so that they can use it to sell you things. Someone you were just introduced to's name and forgot. Mental health check from your word choice only. I need to save money becomes accountability, becomes helpful reminders. Maybe if you want gigs, there could be an auto gig search running in the background, connecting those who have with those who need, potentially preparing the way for bartering. I know a lot of people are into that idea. I don't know. I have this. Anyway. The system, always listening, observing, analyzing, will have full data sets on how we do like a lot of what we do. If you're starting a business, well, the system has stored thousands of ways that it can be done. Combined with its understanding of your tendencies and your skill set, it can guide you with your next best step. So it's kind of like a GPT, right? But it knows everything about you. Potentially connecting you with people who can answer your questions and resources that are available. What we're doing right now manually, I do want the system to do. Does that make sense? Bottom line, if our lives are top priority, our technology can be very helpful for us. The high-ranking folks at most notable social media companies do not use their own platforms personally. The phrase, don't get high in your own supply, comes to mind. They know all too well what their algorithms will do. Oh no, I don't let my kids watch this particular short-form platform. We must turn our attention to developing a system and digital experience that builds up instead of tearing down and preying on our attention. Functioning for us, not the platform, not for revenue. Like Roblox, if it existed to give kids a safe place to play, they would have invested money in security measures, and they would not be being sued, which doesn't sound like a very good time for them. Digital experiences change when profit's not the main goal. Your digital experience should be that of a friend. Friends don't just suggest a restaurant every time you're hungry if they know you're trying to save money. That's what a salesperson does. Your friends should know things about you. They should care, and they should alter their suggestions and their recommendations. What if the system knew your specific personality type and skill set? How could this benefit the user? Well, if you wanted to collaborate, putting collaborative teams together for projects would be much easier, based on shared desires, complementing skill sets and personality types. I've envisioned that like a Tinder for collaboration and a Tinder for friends. 140 billion. No, that's not right. 140 million a year for a team of 5 is bonkers. In a decade, that same executive's team that exists, in a decade, that same executive team's wealth will increase by over $1 billion. Greed is in the fabric of their compensation. That money could go towards the platform of policies. Looking forward to telling you more about that. That money could go towards mental health resources, clearing the static for a lot of folks. Our digital systems could be more helpful and holistic, and still massively profitable, without forced addiction if they base the system on our intentions, needs, and desires, rather than profit-driven motivation of an uncaring, bloated, disconnected corporation. Just give us our data. The people deserve a system that gives them their data, analyzed, distilled, and useful. The past tells your future. Here's your past. If the motivation for building a community, digital or otherwise, is anything other than community, count me out. Our future tech must serve the community, benefiting the user first, rather than the first priority being the profit of the corporation, because I'm telling you, if they come for our jobs with AI, which is already happening to many people, if we own the AI, it's like, hey, Jeremy, you did a great job. This machine's going to do your job now, and you're still going to collect a paycheck. Fantastic, thank you, right? We want to work with people. We don't want to replace them so that they are now destitute. We want to replace them so that they can go do whatever Jeremys do. Community-minded people should be involved in building our community spaces. Thinking digital in this moment, if the primary objective is not profit first, our social media experience could be positive, helpful, uplifting, community, rather than addicting, rather than festering. It's not festering everywhere, but it is in a lot of places, and it spills out on the others, and linked to depression. The app, all of these, not all of them, I don't know, probably all of them, Google it. The app hurts sleep, work, relationships, parenting for 360 million of its users. Oh, that's a quote. Google that quote. The app hurts sleep, work, relationships, or parenting for 360 million of its users. That is a quote. Google that. It's out there somewhere, unless they've washed it. If these platforms can cause, quote, bad, it stands to reason these platforms can cause, quote, good. The love of money, the greed that inspires many to live as they do, is the root of all corporate evil. The fear of lack of money is the cousin of the love of money. Imagine a suite of products, services, applications, and functions that follow the simple ideal. The well-being of people should be priority number one. This mind-blowing innovation will radically transform all aspects of technology and beyond. Profit should, revenue should, pay the bills, pay the workers, be reinvested for the good of the common person. My fight here is not to make money. My fight is for growth, improving. We can do better, and so we should. Greed is a bad reason not to. And if their aim was pure, if they set out to empower your goals, your intention, your life, would the platforms even slightly resemble the current direction? I doubt it. The first priority should not be expanding profit. If our mental health and well-being was seen as actual emergencies, what would change? People first, people user first, community first, love first, helpful, you first, us first. If they will not change, we will change them. If they will not change, we will change them. They collect so much data to sell us stuff. What they know, what they have, could make a dramatic difference in your life. So much is known about you based on your data. Why don't we use that data for us? Why not use it for you? Large language models, I wrote this a long time ago, by the way, can know every service you use, how much you use. It can know automatically the best provider and plan based on your priorities and lifestyle, either suggesting or making it happen. They want it automatic with an agent, right? Best phone plan for you, internet, insurances, banking, and more, constantly updating based on your preferences in this life. Our systems are largely designed for the intention of the designers of the system. Let me say that again. Our systems are designed for the intention of the designer. Taxes, insurance, loans, social media, news media, medicine, food, housing. Oh, let me just be clear. Local media and national media are completely different things, and they have completely different sets of problems. But news media, those employees, by and large, most of them are doing their best and trying to do good for you. I don't know about national. Don't want to talk about it. Not a nice place to be. Anyway, our systems are designed for the designers of the system and their intention and their profit. So yes, taxes, insurance, loans, social media, news media, medicine, food, housing, legal. It's designed for their profit, not for us to live. The systems we engage with lead to stress. The average American has over 100,000 in debt at the time of this writing. Is that right? No way. Debt creates stress, increases the risk of suicide and mental illness. Debt leads to physical health issues, negatively affecting behavior, increases substance abuse, and so much more. Financial stress shortens the lifespan and decreases satisfaction. Debt is one of the worst culprits, adding to the static of life. We can address this. We should address this, and together we will. We deserve a better digital system, a better social network, a better use of our data, a better use of profit generated from us. Our apps and platforms can be vastly improved, but even if they felt and functioned the exact same and they were still the addictive crap that we're using, and the only thing that changed was what was done with the profit, we'd still have progress in the effort to clear the static of the modern life, because that money would go to the fund, and that fund is devoted to helping first the middle class, and then eventually the least of these, and then eventually the whole world. The system must satisfy itself. Our algorithms currently add to the static. Debt, financial ineptitude, lack of education, raging emotions, mental unhealth, isolation, disconnection, shallow relationships, all of these things add to the static. Why clear the static? Right? Well, they don't have a reason to. The static's what they're making money on. It's what they're banking on. I say addition to your life by subtraction. Addition by subtraction. There's something very worthwhile to discover when you're not drowning in stress and distraction. When stress hormones are not pulverizing you, life can be beautiful. Clear the static and live freely. It's all part of the plan. Everything that annoys us about our digital experience is everything that is in contrast to what we know somewhere inside of us that our platforms could be or should be. Annoyance is the evidence of friction between what is and what should be, or the ideal, or what's better. Annoyance is evidence of the friction between what is and what should be. The map of our faults is an inverted path to the ideal. Understanding all that is broken is the path to solving it. The solution is buried in the problem. Inconvenience provides insight into innovation. This is why we want to know your problems. What are our most common issues and complaints? And that's where we should start. We need to know this stuff. So yes, it starts with the complaints, it starts with you, but it starts with the needs of the users in their lives, not the platform or the company. Social media can do more to help the people on the platform. There are algorithms that can detect emotional states like depression with accuracy. We've talked about that. They can predict major depressive episodes months in advance. We've talked about that. If mental health and user well-being were the priority, what features would change? We talked about that. Continuing, our current systems are listening. What if all of our complaints were just automatically cataloged, right? Instead of you having to do that manually, it's just automatically. And it drove everything we developed, right? We'd have a clear picture of what most of us, 70% to 80% of us, struggle with. If we had that, we could research, innovate, develop, and create for the people. Fixes for old products, services, and platforms. Ideas for innovation and new products all together. We could see where we all agree, and that also includes on political stances. That's where the platform of policy comes in. I keep jumping ahead to that because I think it's very important. But we can see where we all agree. And if we all agree, don't you think we should immediately take action? If we all agree on something, don't you think that should immediately be what happens? If we all 100% agree on something and they have the data for that, they should let us know that, and then we should do it. We need to know what all the things are that we agree on, right? We can't let politicians set the agenda. We can't let parties set the agenda. We can't let billionaires set the agenda. The exact issues most of us agree on, right? The exact problems, not what the companies are selling, not what candidates and pundits and networks and parties are selling, right? We can't let them set the agenda empowered by corporate sponsors and profit-driven national news media. We can't let them tell us what to fight about or what to fight for or what's wrong with our lives. Open your eyes, look around, look and see what is wrong and what's broken, and stop listening to the news so much about it. So much is left versus right, rather than pursuing a common sense direction. What's broken and what can we do to fix it? We should be winning where we agree. We, all sides, need understanding and commonality, and we can get that consensus. A list of what the majority of us agree are problems and possibilities. A list, a platform we can hold up and tell corporations and politicians, these are problems for us. This is what most of us want. Support this and we'll support you. And those who don't support us, well, we've got the fund. We know what the people want. The corporations won't do it. Well, guess what? We will. And then the profits will go to the fund. So no longer will we protest. Sorry if you like to protest. I don't mean this is offensive. This is just a belief I hold in my own head, and I don't normally share it. But I believe, maybe in conjunction with other things, protesting can be helpful. But by itself, it's just group begging. By itself, it's just group begging. Sorry, no longer will we protest when a company's doing things that we don't like and they don't listen to us. We simply replace them. And then the money goes into the fund which serves the people. This is potentially a dangerous thing to be saying, because this is all true, and if we do this, we don't have to rely on them for anything. And where does the money go that was paying those lobbyists? And how does the political landscape change if we have non-partisan consensus? So we've worked our way about halfway, I think, through this section so far. Again, this book is Embrace the Infinite. And the more you listen, the more you understand, the more you can understand the way the plan works, I hope. If examined, our data reveals our shared problems, and if we approach these issues as problem solvers rather than partisan political jockeys, things might change a bit. As people solving the problems rather than companies turning a profit. Yeah, if we approach it as people solving the problems rather than companies turning a profit. If we collect what's bothering people, making life difficult, choking out prosperity, and crushing hope, we can take specific aim. Remember, the ideal system we discussed is always listening. What keeps you up at night? What makes your soul sing? What would you do with $50 million? We want to know that about you. What about your life makes no sense? What would you like to see done? What's inconvenient? What's broken? What common frustrations are we all coming up against? Well, most of us. What are we all complaining about? Imagine a system curious about collecting that sort of data, again, to serve the people. Imagine a platform of non-partisan, non-polarized policies made from our most common issues. Now we have a list of what requires attention. No party, no corporations, just us. Finding solutions for us that profit us. Just what's disrupting our peace and what we do about it. Just the people. No party to please, no lobbyists to appease, no companies serving priorities to keep in check, above all. Just the problems and intentions of the people and what we're doing about it. If we know what we have in common, it's a lot easier to unite and stand as one. All right, that's enough about the app there, I think. So we're talking about household goods paying down your debt again. Like the bird on this one, he's crazy looking. I mean, what if, child labor laws were closely followed? What if we agreed on zero sweatshops and a living wage? If there are profits, then it goes back to the fund. What if the driving force was how much good we can do, then rather than how much money we can make? Only the people can help the people. A lot of research is funded by profit-seeking entities, with funding from the people. What research could be pursued strictly to benefit the common person? What products, what apps, what could we not address if we provide what we need for ourselves? The fund, with its many sources of profit, is a part of the solution. The money will serve to uplift the middle class, bridging gaps, offering a hand and easy ways to pay it forward. Potentially, toiletries, household goods, right? Buy those, watch the content that's going to add money to the fund, use the app, and the platform. Money to the fund, buy from our vendors, money to the fund, direct donation, money to the fund, use the payment gateway. That's about $1 million to make, someone said. I don't know. If we make a payment gateway and a percentage of that, it goes to the fund. buy products and services from us, goes to the fund, use our affiliate links. Oh, we can have loads of affiliate links. If you're going to use their cursed website, just use our affiliate link to go there to buy things. So all of these efforts and so many more, e-commerce websites and the like, bring money in, and that money becomes whatever we lay out in the platform of policies. The platform of policies is set by the problems felt most. Could we fund affordable medications? Could we fund low-interest loans? The interest going to the fund. Could we afford to give people job training, education, certification, scholarships, therapy, coaching, data analysis and machine learning for the people, apps that work for us, homes, mental health, financial wellness, community gardens, detox for the addicted, resources for the youth entering adulthood? Oh, that's huge. Kids entering life, they're extremely lost. We need more resources for them. I want my taxes. I want my taxes to be auto-filed. I want my bills on auto pay, auto budget, auto scan for the best plans. Auto friend finder, investor finder, collab finder. It's a great big world, and we're not even living in it. Again, we're being pulled out of our world and put into them. Make doing good a byproduct of the system. No longer can we buy products and services that funnel money into the pockets of the few. No one person should have that much money for personal use any longer. No one person should have access to that much data for private gain any longer. Imagine those profits helping us if online retail, social media served our needs, if products and services supported us rather than paying for another vacation home, rather than waiting for them to pay their taxes, we buy from us. Cut off their supply to our cash and create good as a byproduct. Taxes are a demand for input for societal good in theory, but there are so many ways around it. Buying from the people ensures it stays with the people. Corporations are not people. We demand separation of corporation and state. Redirect our spending into a vessel that exists to serve and improve society. A people-first effort that exists not for greed, but for better. We can do great big things together. We can be more intentional about fully equipping our children. Our apps can reflect that. We can better support our local businesses. We can better utilize technology not for greed, but for the community. We can seek to clear the static. We can seek for us to be heard. The pain points of our lives in farming. Seeking intelligent solutions. Not for a party, not for a philosophy, not for a corporation. Just common sense solutions most of us agree on. For the issues most of us face. Data-backed. Experts informed. Small list of things that almost no one disagrees about. Limiting lobbyists, yeah. Term limits, yeah. Separation between corporation and state. Once we talk about it, it's like, oh, well, that's a good point. That company owns that company, owns that company, owns that company. So all four of those major, massive companies own all the companies. That's pretty neat. We need to get money out of politics. We're all fed up with predatory, self-serving digital platforms. We want access to affordable education. The cost of medication and treatment is too high. Access to mental health resources is too low for too many people. Too many of us are unhealthy and in debt and financial practices. And this might just be me, but I want a complete automation of all things paperwork and adulting. I'm just not interested. I know adulting is a phased out millennial term, but when I said it, you know what I meant. And this is just what I've learned from conversation. We have to stop fighting on the battlefronts of our disagreements and take on what we can agree about. If we made a choice, this choice, nothing could stop us. A collective direction is a powerful force. And we made it all up anyway. How it works, we get to change it. How we please, what works for us. And I think this will work for us. For what is the most good for the most people, while harming as few as people as possible. Like preferably none. We don't have to agree on polar opposite stances. We've got to fix the cracks, harnessing the spirit of helpful folk after an emergency or a disaster. You don't have to agree on everything when the house is on fire. You must agree on how to cooperate. Take action where there is agreement. You can skip this part if you want. If you've got a very short attention span, I suppose you probably still wouldn't be listening. This was me describing large language models being integrated into our personal data, and this is back in 2017, 2018. Imagine a chatbot trained on your data that also uses your personal information and it answers to your queries. Yeah, trained on your data. I didn't have the words for it. It remembers your likes, dislikes, your preferences. They already know these things. You should have complete access to the benefits of the data that you already have. It remembers every steps that you've taken to complete particular tasks and creating behavior tracks. I do love this. If you don't like it, it's fine. We don't have to do it. If the people want it, then we'll do it. If they don't, that's fine. Your behavior tracks can be used to help you remember your actions. It's like machine learning of your life. Help you remember your actions and the results from your experiences. So like, yeah, you could pull out your plod note and you could constantly tell it. Maybe we'd have our own device. I don't know. We need to talk to the experts. But your behavior tracks would help you remember the actions, the results from your experiences, just constantly logging it, or it's just listening and cataloging. Using your experiences and reactions and those of others establishes best practices. Yeah. So over the course of like 5 to 10 years, the algorithm learns the best way to do things in the world, in life. And then it can pass that information along to other people. Could you imagine if all of your life's experiences could help people that fit your demographic? And with AI, they can really masterfully carve out what your demographic is. So later on, someone else could benefit from the struggle you've gone through. Not just the people around you. Yeah, that's wonderful. But also, we can make content around this. We can make books around this, around something you've learned. We can introduce behavior tracks whenever they're struggling with something in life. You can say, oh, 1,000 people just like you have already done this, right? Here you go. Here's your way out. And they're like, oh, that's fantastic. So you can learn their behavior track. So if the system knows this and sees a particular behavior track accomplished and that it accomplished the desired goal and created the best emotional experience along the way, it can make recommendations to you. Also, if the system knows the contents of your life, it does, so it knows and shares its knowledge with you, it can factor in the specific data to answer your question. Whose birthday is coming up next in my family? Are there holidays designated important coming up? It can know a holiday is important to you and treat it as so. How's my spending been this month? How much have I spent in the unnecessary category? You can tell it whatever you consider unnecessary. You can also learn the other percentages of other users who consider that same product necessary or unnecessary. Perhaps the social element would be the two types discussing why they feel the way they do. So, I don't think that's necessary for this reason. Well, I think it is necessary for that reason, gain perspective. Product creators and customers alike could learn and have fun. It might be a bit of a reach. You could ask it to recall all the articles you've read in the last couple of days. Your history is just stored. Just make it easy and conversational and useful. Behavior tracks begin as general step-by-step tracks that led to specific goals, but eventually they get specialized to specific types of people or ordered by behavior and tendencies. Behavior tracks can also be weighed in on by psychologists, behaviorists, neuroscientists, coaches, thinkers, economists, community builders, organizers, philanthropists, data scientists, and of course the action taken by the users. The experiences of others could genuinely change your buying experience, alter the path you take to get out of debt, and help you guide towards starting your own business. You wouldn't have to pay a consultant to learn how to do something. The system was paying attention. And when these other 1,000 people started their business, it can tell you step by step. Eventually, the system potentially could just do it for you. Based on observing tens of thousands of transactions, it's starting to do things like that. You could just pop in for the signing part. That's the thing for me. The software could exist. The components are all there. The fund could provide the funds to design the system exactly. Watch yourself the way they watch, but do what you want done with it. We've only seen what this data can do with one desire attached to it, and that's sales. What can this data do for you if it's for your own good, for your desires and goals instead of marketing professionals? Yes. What if the system could detect the struggles of most of its users, and solutions and additions to the platform or policy could be gleaned from the data of our lives, and money made from the fund to make these things? Yes. All right, that's an hour. That's probably a good place to stop. How much further do we have to go? Oh, we're through the thick of it almost. I'm going to finish this chapter, folks. We're almost done. Now, as someone with ADHD and someone with whatever else I've got, I think about other people quite a bit. And I think, how could this system help them? Because one of the things that people like me struggle with is object impermanence, or whatever it's called. I forget, it's not permanent. But we can, essentially, if you can see your life, it's easier to keep track of it. It's easier to be grateful for it. It's easier to make changes. And some of us have a diminished ability to do that executive function thing and look above and look out and see what's there. I do have that, but not everyone does. So imagine this system that has all of your data that's working for you. What if you could organize your view of the elements of your life based on your mood, by your emotional state, right? Your behavior tracks based on the direction you'd like your mood to go. Behavior tracks for treatment, behavior tracks for medication reminders. The system would help you remember what matters to you. What if the platform, the system championed companies, products, and services that agreed to put a portion of the proceeds towards the fund. We've been talking about that a lot, baby. And that includes online. So if you buy something online because they know you want it, then a percentage of that goes to the fund, right? So this becomes kind of a shop of sorts based on your needs. And we're just helping the business. The business is in a percentage goes to the fund. That's amazing. Rather than just paying the platform to spread their message, companies would fund the will of the people. The purpose of the system would be to help you remember and understand your life, getting a hand on what's important to you. A treasure trove of your favorite moments. I forget those. Uplifting reminders when you're having a tough time, regaining perspective on your life, specific days, uploaded, pictures, events, and moments in time worth framing. Our current system knows where we were when we took the pictures, but not how we felt in the moment. How we feel when we see those memories, but we could know that. Showing you the right photos, articles, behavior tracks, etc. at the right time could have a positive effect according to your intention. Long term, the system would know us well enough to do just that. The data they're analyzing it. This is not for us. Current algorithms show you what they want you to see, what they think will keep you on the longest. Why shouldn't they show you your friend's band, their business, their art posts? What if the people that matter to you and the projects you're involved in that matter to them were mixed in the ads shown to you? That would be great for connection, for support, for well-being. What if you could search for products, services, you could sort by ones that are your friends. The friend's business, you can search that first. Maybe it's proximity, you need someone very close to you. Maybe you want to sort it by whether it's locally sourced or not, by its price, by its sustainability. Whatever your priority is, you should be able to sort by that. You should be able to sort your friends like that as well. I need to know who of my friends can sing. I can't do that right now. Behavior tracks may lead to products, videos from coaches and gurus, etc. on managing difficult emotions, right? That will actually inform our media company and the content that we make. Managing difficult emotions, blogs, workouts, mindset. What are we talking about? Behavior tracks may lead to products, videos on managing difficult emotions, blogs, workouts, mindset training, meditations, food, anything we want, right? Tracks can aid in honoring your priorities. Now, it's not just the pretty stuff. We also can report the results. I like the idea of that, so you know what works. And it's for your person type. Setting goals, etc. Tracks for tricky paperwork, known workarounds and loopholes, right? How many of those old boy things don't we know because no one's ever told us? Tracks to help with taxes, health insurance, and more. There's so much more, but I don't think a written document is the right way to go. Yes, I'm going to continue on. Essentially, yes, I want you to help shape what it does. Everything I just read to you is 10 documents based out of 170 I have on this system to provide the first peek that you've heard. There are more pages than that now. The system can help with financial planning, community disaster preparedness, connecting communities like the cities to the people that live there, the neighborhoods to each other, help with investment opportunities, philanthropic efforts, and more. And it keeps billions with the people. Apps will eventually go away and be replaced by customizable processes and functions. One single experience with modular features based on you and your goals. Swipe right to collaborate. Yes. All right, I think we're almost through the woods here. The goal is to get people to live their lives. Saving mental energy for real life. Get people offline, that's the goal. Automate everything so you don't have to do anything. Because being an adult is a full-time job. Want this thing to do that junk for you. Unless you love it. If you love it, keep doing it. But I don't want my kids to have to do that. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I like this idea. We can serve you the group discounts because we can buy things in bulk and get them at a discount. Data reporting, bill paying, tax filing. Like if H&R knew everything, right? Plan management for your phone, your insurance, your TV, your streaming device, everything required of you to live a modern adult life all in one portal with a percentage of the profits going to the fund. Yes, imagine what data scientists could teach you about yourself and not just some guy in a mask. And you can see a timeline of your life. See your timeline. I did this. I accomplished this. You can put all your tasks in there, right? Because if it knows your tasks, it knows, oh, you recorded a song last week. Oh, you did this. I think a did-do list is more exciting than a to-do list because you can look back and see everything you've done. And I'm a man of religion, and it says in the beginning, they looked back and they said, oh, it's good at the end of creation. So you can see your timeline, your choices, your moods, and the correlation. words you use the most often, and what that says about your personality or your attachment style. It's like having if a data scientist could look at this, having like a BuzzFeed article that can tell you something about yourself that's really about you based on your data. The state of your financial health, if that's what you want to know. Some of us want to keep our heads buried, I suppose. And chat style, ability to discuss your life. Oh yeah, we talked about that, like an LLM, like a GPT, to discuss your life, your plans, everything. All the blech we didn't ask for. You could just talk to it. It takes care of it. How much did I spend on this? Is there anywhere I can save money? If I wanted to save 5,000 by next year, could you help me with that? What's the strategy? And if the system could remind you of your goals, show you videos on reaching goals, show you images and videos of what you're saving up for, tell you things that you can cut back on, etc. There's more here, right? This is how the algorithm starts to honor your intention. This stuff wouldn't have to be in your face all the time, just your data when you need it. We don't need the same data faster with 7G. We just need it organized. It's spewing out at record paces. We don't need more. I hate the way I say that. More. But we need it organized, added to the context of our digital experience, organized at the right time for the best reason, organized by what you're feeling, by what you want to accomplish, by what you want to learn, what you want to do, what you want to what you want to want. Wow. Yeah, indeed. There are things I want to want, and if I could be influenced by that intention, I might want them more. Behavior tracks take our data and turn it into practical wisdom. One of the functions could be and should be to consolidate wisdom, what we all agree on, to arrange ourselves in the best possible way according to our desires. It's like when a troop of monkey finds a useful tool, the whole troop learns it, and then that learning is passed on to other troops. Like TikTok trends, but on purpose all the time and not for attention. Oh, wow, this worked. Great. This worked? Wait, this worked? Try it out. Oh, the algorithm suggests you try this. This worked. What if the algorithm just suggested solutions? Behavior tracks, solutions. This worked. The wisdom that comes from observation of the self is valuable. See the ancient proverb, know thyself. All right, one more thing. This is about the timeline. Imagine you had a timeline of your whole life, every event, emotion, and digital action available for your immediate review. The ability to spot habits based on your data, your emotional state, your actions, your mental state, and your ideal. If you borrow a book from the library, it creates a digital event and subsequent possible actions. Reminders when the book is due, potentially a chat group about the book. Lessons and quotes you learned from the book are stored in your timeline. You can use your credit card. It creates you use your credit card. It creates a digital event and sees it on your timeline. You could start to understand the link between your emotional state and your spending, the link between your life circumstances and your eating. What could you learn about yourself? Your kid's teacher sends an email about the behavior in class. A digital event is created, a follow-up reminder, and suggested actions based on people like you who have navigated similar circumstances. Using our life-earned wisdom and making sure others benefit from what we learned the hard way. The data is there, but they're using it to profit. Shouldn't we use that data? Excuse me. Shouldn't we profit from the knowledge of our lives, turning data into wisdom? You tell the system what your goals are, it knows what you're doing, and it can help you cross the divide between desire and taking action. For example, we've detected an emotional shift, body temperature, sweat, pupils, pulse, facial expression, other small tells. The months of learning, the system begins to accurately detect emotional states. Some people are not comfortable with wearables. You don't have to do this, but you can incorporate this in with all the other data. Understand behaviors that lead to states and behaviors that guide you from an undesired state to a preferable one. After a time, the system can detect conflict between users, a married couple, for instance. Before it begins, patterns of interaction cycles will emerge, giving you an emotional forecast for each other. Daily reviews of your life, finances, upcoming activities, emotional state of self, and those in your relationship sphere. Understanding the obligations you have resistance to and recommending tactics to overcoming that resistance. Ordering activities for maximum emotional momentum. The system would be able to automatically detect the most common issues and problems most users are facing. These problems could be fully addressed with simple solutions, and if needed, products and services, profits back to the fund, could be created. We could allow users to choose their preferred philosophy, Stoicism, Buddhism, Christian principles, neuroscience of positivity, growing this list over time, focusing on the relational and personal aspects important to the user. The people are the way. This will work. This will win. All we have to do is rally, decide, and do under the banner of collective better. I'm less concerned with what you do and more concerned with how you be, ultimately. That's why I want to do all this, to clear the static, to help your being. You don't need to do more, honey. We all need a long break and to reconnect with the soul. Your doing pours from your being. How can we help people feel the importance? But we can't all just take a break until this work is done. Unless the work was literally all on the same page and we just take a break. The world slows down. I don't know if that would help anything. Sorry. How can we help people feel their importance? Help people feel heard, understood. I want people to feel fully loved. Learning forgiveness as a reflex. I love that. Learning vulnerability and understanding. A group of people ready to help, eager to learn, quick to congratulate, listening, thinking of others, caring for the common good and innovation. I want to be one of these people. I want to be surrounded by these people. People clearing their static and helping others do the same. Sold out to service and connectedness. Or connection, I suppose, is the word. Sometimes I'm troubled that we're untroubled. The government serves and is influenced by special interest groups. Our softwares, algorithms, and social medias are designed for profit, not people. We've scaled without balance. We've spent too much time out of spirit, out of mindfulness, outside of love. Too much time on the surface. Too much. The world seems to want to squeeze profit from everything. The mentality seems to be this profit. If there's a profit to be made, it should be. Rather than if there's good to be done, or innovation or improvement, it should be done. Nearing the end here. Government spending. Did you know our politicians slip unrelated laws into bills in the US? Yeah, pork bellies, right? Did you know the first COVID spending bill included a line item for new fighter jets and billions of dollars to other countries? Would the American people have asked for or approved this? Hey, we're talking about COVID today. Yeah, what if we send some tanks and some jets? What? What's COVID? What? Pork barrel politics refers to the practice of politicians adding, quote, pet projects to congressional bills that provide direct benefits to their local voters and financial supporters. And then they have a small contingency of people. They say, you won't get my people or my people's votes. My vote. If you don't have this pet project, we need to make that illegal post haste, in my opinion. And if people disagree, I guess we'll keep them, but I'm pretty sure that's one of those things we can all agree on. These projects are typically unrelated to the broader scope of the bill and can be seen as favoritism towards a specific group at the expense of the nation as a whole. Politicians may use pork barrel spending to further their interests by using it as a bargaining tool for supporting the legislation of other lawmakers, speaking of that, or to appeal to the constituents during election campaigns. If we, the people, had an honest way to understand what the government is doing and a real-time avenue to communicate our collective will, our representatives would have to act in our best interest, or we would know real time. Accountability doesn't have to wait years. We could vote them out if they represent anyone but us, we the people. No longer would they be able to act without accountability. A group built around a shared reality and a shared direction, giving people a tool set for their lives, a community to link up with, similar passions and pursuits. This is kind of the small thing that happens now. Right? A group to grow with, to make an impact with, clearing the static, right? What are our goals, our dreams? How can we serve ourselves? What can be offered to propel us forward? What projects can we be involved in? What non-profits? Can we help their businesses? Right? We start with the help. Participation is not required. It's not the point. It's not the end goal. But helping people be about what they're about. And we want to help them move towards a fulfilled and more abundant life. The goal is to influence for the people, help the people through the system as a byproduct of the system, taking the money that we, the people, generate and spreading it back out through social programs, not run by the government, but run by our data, run by our council, run by the people have veto power. There's so many rules to this. Like, we need to go over all of this, and we will in the platform of policy, and we'll make sure we have consensus before we launch. Taking aim at the problems we see in our lives, in our data, the people down here in it. Millionaires and billionaires are living in a different world. The world treats them differently. The solutions look differently. The problems are not our problems. Then they can't make our solutions. They need researchers to understand poverty, to even understand the middle class. Who should be designing and guiding our digital systems and experiences? Who should be designing our infrastructure for community? And who but the people should be profiting? We shall no longer allow inhuman entities, these massive corporations, to put their needs above human life in the interests of us all. Politicians face a broken system and seem to be corrupt. Politicians face a broken system and seem to become corrupt or rendered ineffective, while companies influence our government to affect change that makes it easier for them to make more and more money. What could happen if we started buying from ourselves, we the people, from the people, serving the needs and the intentions of the people, rather than the enormous salaries and self-preservation? Even if there's 1,000% better way to go, the beauty of this is starting in this way allows us to pivot with our needs. We're not locked into dealing with just one symptom of a much larger issue. We aim to pull up the roots of our problems. Rather than systems that aim for the benefit of corporations, systems that facilitate for the people. Why shouldn't there be us-owned, not US, excuse me. Why shouldn't there be us-owned, ethical, at-cost manufacturing, plus like a percentage? Why couldn't we cooperate as one, combining our buying power, hearing from the knowledgeable, the experts in every sector? What would it take to get production started? Everything would cost what it would cost, no price gouging, plus a little extra, of course, for the repairs of it all and the investment for future products. Eventually, we won't need to put money in the fund. We'll be able to lower the prices of everything to what cost is, but that's not for a while. Every job can pay a comfortable wage until it's all automated, and then you get to follow whatever spiritual practice you want. You get to follow whatever recreation you want. They're going to replace us, right? Then it's going to be a slave state, corporate surveillance, all that. Well, not if we get there first. Not if we buy from us, right? Anyway, I don't know about all that. I just want to address those people because I know it's in your mind. No excessive salaries for CEOs and C-suites. No marketing without excessive markups. This gets a little confusing. I think you get the idea. It's important for the well-being of the individual to get clear on what they're about and be about it. Take intentional aim at their problems and clear the static in their life. And I want to do that through these systems. I want to do that through these dreams. The same is true for society as a whole. We must know what most are about. We need consensus. Steve Jobs created products based on pain points of the people. We must take aim at our shared pain points, but first we must know exactly what those pain points are. All right. That's what I've written about the plan. And so from here, going back to the notebook, essentially we make content. We have the shows that we already talked about at the beginning. We start to make money. We start to build the fund. Take the money from the fund. Invest it, right? Grow it. Start to serve the people. Yeah. That's pretty good. So, on board Let's Save the World. That's rather choppy. It's rather sporadic. There's a lot of redundancies, but that's a really good peek into what we can do, what we can be, what the people can start to see when greed is not the priority. I think that's good for now. I think the next podcasts will be the show. Yes. And we'll have fun. That's the hope anyway. Yeah, it's going to be fiction, but real impact. That's the goal. If it doesn't work, I won't do it. And I'm not going to spiral in for perfection. But if it does work, it's going to be a lot of fun. Worst case scenario, we just keep podcasting like this. But we get other people in the room. So it's not one monotonous voice reading from a book. Again, that book is called Embrace the Infinite. I always have to look because I don't remember what I titled it because it's just the book to me. Embrace the Infinite, a hand-drawn collection of wisdom stories and a plan to save ourselves, and you can get it on the website. There's plenty of more in there that you can read about. Thank you for listening. I should probably tack on some calls to action, but let's just start by getting this message out there, and then I'll feel like the plan is out and I've said enough for your imagination to go wild. And if that's not enough for you to understand what the plan is, and see all the synergy and see how it's possible. That's what it is. That's what it's been. I don't want to just tell you the plan. You need to know why the plan. You need to know how the plan moves, how it grows, and how it links to other things, and what it supports. And I didn't even go into the platform of policies that much. But, I want to go back into it, but I won't. Okay, that's enough for now. Thank you so much for listening. I gotta get back to making reels. Oh, this feels good to get out. Let's get it all chopped up now, shall we?